13 years before the girl in white raised her blade, the Empire bought its silence in blood and ash. Snow fell in lazy spirals over the smoking ruins of Vermillion Sparrow Manor. It drifted past the shattered gates, past the cracked marble lions that no longer guarded anything, and settled over the blood-soaked calligraphy steps like a shroud. Ash mixed with snow in the air, and from a distance it looked almost beautiful, like a scroll, half burned, its story still trying to write itself. The manor had once been a cradle of culture. No, not for armies, not for politics, but for harmony retreats, where the Empire's most promising noble children were sent to learn grace. Here, Guqin notes floated through bamboo halls. Calligraphy ink never smudged. Plum blossoms were gathered each morning for study, not ritual. Swords were displayed on velvet, not drawn in anger. Even the servants spoke in poetry. Bai Yuxuan had arrived only 4 days ago. She had been sent by her mother, Lady Bai Linhua, in accordance with an old Frostmoon tradition. To rule with clarity, you must first understand stillness. Yuxuan was 7, curious, proud. Her sword posture was awkward, but her ink strokes, elegant. Her tutors praised her natural poise, her balance, her silence. She was learning how to bow without breaking, learning how to breathe like a lady and not a weapon. But the weapon would come anyway. The first scream was swallowed by snow. The second never came. The attackers moved like falling shadows, black cloaks, no insignias, no mercy. They did not demand anything. They made no proclamations. They entered through the back kitchens, the South Scholar Wing, and cut down tutors, guests, even guards, with frightening precision. They did not speak. They did not hesitate. They killed with the speed of men who had already decided. No one in this house should live. Yuxuan had just finished her morning ink meditation when the air shifted. She didn't know what death smelled like, but she would remember the scent of blood on burning lacquer for the rest of her life. She heard Lady Ruo drop her guqin, heard a man's grunt. Then nothing. Silence fell. Not gentle silence, but the kind that presses on the ribs. Across the courtyard, the musicians' hall was burning. She saw Ren Er, her youngest companion, no older than 6, wide-eyed, half-wrapped in a study robe, still holding his guqin like a shield. He stepped toward the hall. A blade found him before he could speak. Yuxuan didn't scream. She bit her tongue and ran. A shadow passed in front of her. She held her breath. And then he knelt. She could not see his face, only the demon mask, crimson, carved into a laughing snarl. Its expression, more statue than costume, meant to unsettle, not hide, and it did both. The figure studied her. Then, slowly, he reached into his robes and removed something small. He placed it in her hand. A coin, imperial. One side, the dragon seal of the inner court. The other, a lotus in bloom. It was heavier than it looked, too heavy for silver. He stood. You were not meant to be here. She stayed there, crouched behind the arch for what felt like hours. When she finally moved, it was because the silence had grown unbearable. She walked to the manor gates alone. No escort, no master, no sound. She sat on the stone steps, the coin clenched in her hand, the broken string tucked into her sash. That was how the Imperial Guards found her, hours later, when the sky had cleared and the snow had stopped. She didn't speak when they questioned her, didn't flinch when they called it an attack by the shadowless pavilion, didn't cry when they gave the tragedy a name. The Vermillion Sparrow silence. The Emperor issued a quiet decree. The Frostmoon sect withdrew from court life. The shadowless pavilion was declared rogue and began to fracture under pressure. The court wagged its tongues and buried its dead. The story had been written. The coin had done its job. 13 years later, the girl who once studied guqin would return. She would not speak with her voice. She would not sing. She would come dressed in white, carrying a sword, and her silence would no longer mean obedience.
雪落无声，你曾站过的地方，我用沉默追问旧时光。你无名无实无光芒，却因我踏叶而亡。我屏息站在你熄灭的火前，是无名之音，是命中的悬念。你挥剑转我心间，羞愧地狱一句别改变。是谁教霜等待春归？谁问星辰悲从何来？只一次心更堕入爱，不顾誓言，不问未来。你眼中风暴沉入海，若需分身，我愿为你燃烧。我曾历史无情无泪无线索，是你触唤醒我沉默。人说往事如是不可转，可你是我独行的彼岸。原谅我深